Hi, my name is Mike, and I would like to welcome you to my channel, Mike's Model Kit Workbench. And today I'm starting a new build. This is the Revell 1/25th scale 57 Chevy Bel Air 2-door sedan 2-in-1 kit. And if you like what you see, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. And once again, thank you for watching. As is the case with most car builds, we start with the engine. This has got 2 pages of engine assembly. It's got some custom parts for a custom engine, but I'm going to be building it stock. And I've got all the pieces cut off for the engine. So I need to assemble these, prime and paint. I'll probably assemble it based on color, because I'm not going to assemble the whole thing and then paint it. I'm going to have the Chevy engine red parts and the black parts. They're going to be all separated, and then I'll do the final assembly of the engine. And when I get there, I'll come back. First I'm going to prime them, then paint them, and assemble, and I'll show you the results of that. Alright, I got all my pieces, parts for the engine, bamboo skewers, ready to be painted. And I did find, I got a little tiny bit of Chevy engine red for the engine, and most of the other parts are going to be semi-gloss black or a metallic color. So I'll start painting these, and that dries, I can put the engine together. Okay, got the engine assembled. The nice looking Revell 283 V8. This is the stock configuration. It went together really well. It's detailed enough. It's going to look good in the car. And also I got as much as the chassis assembled as I could before I painted it. This means had the lower control arms put on, the upper control arms, and the coil springs, and the steering box, along with the fuel tank and spare tire carrier. Those came separate. I'm not sure why they molded those separately. Maybe a different version has a different thing in the back. Maybe a fuel cell. I don't know. So that, I got to make that black. And then for the rest of the chassis, I've got everything on skewers. Got the exhaust, drive shaft, the rear differential and springs, and the rear shocks. There we go. So those also need to be black, but I couldn't put the rear suspension on before the exhaust because the exhaust is one piece and it goes under, it goes under the drive shaft. So I'll get that painted and assembled, and I'll come back for another update, and then we'll start on the body and the interior. So got most of the chassis assembled and painted black. I had to leave the differential off until I get the exhaust in because it goes underneath and I wasn't able to feed that through. So that's painted black, and all the other individual pieces. I had to glue the springs onto the differential. I set those in place to make sure they were lined up okay. That cured up, painted black, along with the rear shocks. And I've got the differential, the drive shaft. It says to paint that aluminum, but I put a black base coat on that. And the same goes for the stock exhaust pipes. They're black now, but they'll be painted aluminum. And the interesting thing is for the black, I did an experiment, and I've got a bottle of Anita's outdoor weatherproof craft paint. And I just shot that through my master airbrush straight onto the bare plastic. And I mixed it with this 50-50 mix of windshield washer fluid and distilled water. And that sprayed pretty well. It gave it a kind of neat undercoating texture that kind of works good for the bottom of a car. So I bought the outdoor because it says UV weather resistant, perfect for wood and metal. Seeing how metal is a hard surface, I figured, hey, that would work on plastic too. And it says no need for a separate sealer. So I'll let that dry. It says let it dry completely between coats. It's already pretty much dry. And we see how durable it becomes. Sandpaper had come off. So I touched up the spots that were white. And I figured, I think I should clear coat it with something to make it more durable. So I had this on the shelf, clear acrylic matte. Got this at Hobby Lobby, and it dries really fast. And I wanted to make sure it was strong, so I put a heavy coat out in the humid weather today, and it slowly did this frosty look. But I think it's like built-in automatic weathering, and I think it works. So I'm leaving it. It's pretty durable now. And then I'll install the engine, the exhaust, and the rear differential. And I'll do a little more dry brushing, just a tad more weathering, maybe some browns and aluminums, what have you. And then go from there, and we finally be ready to go work on the body and the interior. All right, at least this part's done. Here is my weathered chassis, and I'm really quite pleased with it. Got the engine installed. Looks good. Tri-shaft. And the exhaust. The exhaust is Rust-Oleum aluminum. Like I said, the rest of the black is a craft paint black with two kinds of flat coat on it, between which I used some Vallejo pigments. This is burnt umber. I brushed that on with a soft paintbrush in the cracks and crevices, and then to hold that in place, I got some just kind of generic water-based craft matte varnish shot through my airbrush. And but some of what happened was with the matte coat, it kind of dissolved some of that pigment, so it only remained in the deep crevices, but that's okay. And then finally, I put some little rust staining using this Testors Create FX enamel stain. This is, I don't know, I think rust number 2, and I thinned that with just enamel thinner. And that's that. And I think at this point, I'm going to end this video for part 1, and part 2 will be the interior and the body. The body I got right now, I sprayed some primer on it. This trusty Tamiya surface primer. And then from there, I'll do the color coats and the bare metal foil and go from there. So, see you in the next one.